one up, does so, hits the rim, and the foul by the Ant-Man.
An electric throwdown from Anthony Edwards.
What kind of night were you having tonight, especially that third quarter?
My trainer told me to black out tonight, so I tried to do that.
Good morning and welcome into First Take. I'm Evan Cohen in for Molly, and do we have a packed show for you today? Hello to Courtney Cronin,
Hi.
David Dennis Jr., Kendrick Perkins, Kevin Clark, Damian Woody, and Daniel Cormier will all join us along with special guest, the men's NCAA Tournament Most Outstanding Player, Walter Clayton Jr. But let's start with the NBA. Anthony Edwards scored 44 points, including 18 during Minnesota's franchise record 52-point third quarter. And the T-Wolves beat the Grizzlies 141-125 on Thursday night in a game between teams fighting to avoid the play-in tournament. The West does remain a logjam. Lakers lead the pack, but are just one game ahead of the Nuggets and Clippers with a three-way tie between 6, 7, and 8. Reminder, 7 and 8 face off in the play-in tournament. Perk, who needs to capture the 6th seed the most?
I believe it's Golden State. I believe they will capture the 6th seed. I think when you look at the uphill battle that they had to face since acquiring Jimmy Butler at the trade deadline, they were behind the 8 ball. So they've spent a lot, they exhausted a lot of energy to get to this point. And when you look at the old heads and Steph and Draymond and Jimmy, that week off would definitely help them going into the postseason. And by the way, they want to get to the 6th seed because I like them against the Lakers if the Lakers are the 3rd seed. I like the Warriors. I like that matchup, especially when you look at how the Lakers play defense, pack in the paint, and give up a lot of three-point shots. That's kind of been the recipe that J.J. Redick has designed for this Laker defense. I like the Warriors to get that 6th seed, and if they face the Lakers in the first round, the Lakers got the 3rd seed, the Warriors are going to pop the Lakers.
I want to talk about the team that you mentioned at the start of the show, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the team that we can't really figure out what they are. Are they the team that ended up beating the Denver Nuggets 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago now in 2 overtime? Or are they the team that blows a 24-point lead to the Milwaukee Bucks the other night? I think last night was so important to showing how mentally tough they can be, because there was times in the fourth quarter that you weren't really sure what they were going to do, if they were going to let another one slide by. I think Mike Conley's the one who said it after the game, that we realize we can lose as a team, that you get comfortable when you build these big leads, and that you can't get comfortable in that situation because you saw how quickly a margin like that can evaporate. So, Perk, you talk about rest for the Golden State Warriors, and I agree with you there. If they get the 6th seed, it's good because they need that week off. I think the Timberwolves need the 6th seed to get the week off to mentally reset, to figure out, can Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle do this together consistently throughout the postseason? They scored 141 points last night. That's tied for the most that they've done all season. So they've shown that in vulnerable situations, this is a team that, with its back against the wall, rely on Anthony Edwards. He's a walking bucket. He's a superstar. He can do so much in the postseason like we've seen before. But with the analytics telling us right now that they have the best chance, 88% according to ESPN analytics, to get the 6th seed, they've got to cruise the rest of the way, and they've got a winnable schedule. Nets at home and the Jazz at home. So I'm thinking 6th seed for them. They're going to take that week off. They're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves going into the first round of the playoffs.
I'm sorry, Cronin. I got to go with my guy Perk here and say that this is about the Golden State Warriors avoiding that play-in. You need that rest. You do not want to go out there and risk falling to the 8th seed, especially in playing OKC in that Thunder squad. You do not want to go and play Minnesota or Memphis in the play-in, not have a lot of rest, and then have to go on the road against a team like Houston. Yes, I do think the Warriors can beat the Rockets, but the Houston and OKC have one thing in common. They are some young bucks with a lot of energy that will run up and down that court, and it takes a lot of stamina to stay up against those teams. If I'm the Warriors, I desperately need that 6th seed, because you get that rest, and then you can play a Lakers team. And again, I'm over here agreeing with Perk all morning. Some put something in my coffee or something in my tea this morning. I'm agreeing with Perk all morning. I think the Warriors do have a real legitimate shot to beat that Los Angeles Lakers team. We saw they handled them. They outclassed them when they played before. That Warriors team can break down that Lakers team defensively. And on the other side, they have answers, unique answers, and switchability against that Lakers squad. I trust a 6-seed Warriors to be dangerous to anybody in the West more than I trust them having to come out of the play-in.
I agree with you guys on the Warriors part. Like, they need the 6th seed more than anybody else, but it's for a little bit of different reason. Like, why did you make the Jimmy Butler trade if you're going to be in the play-in? Jimmy Butler lives in the play-in with the Heat. The Heat and Jimmy Butler both live in the play-in. They have residency like the late, great Elgin Baylor in the lottery with the Clippers for all these years, right? Like, they're always in the play-in. You don't make that trade to get Jimmy Butler to be back in the play-in between 7 and 10. And if you think about it, when is Jimmy Butler great? Always at the beginning, never at the end. He's there for 2 more years after this. You're closing in on the end. If you don't make a run this year, this is the best time for him. But I want to follow up with one thing, Perk, that you said, because it's very interesting to think. The reason the Warriors need the 6 is because they have a path now. If they get the 6, would you put them in the Western Conference Finals? Because you would have them then over the Lakers, correct? Would you then have them over Houston? Is that why the 6 is vital to the Warriors?
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And it's just because they have their identity, right? And look, the Warriors are going to score buckets. They have Steph Curry, who's just, been on the tab late, but Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, what they're able to do defensively, their IQ, they're able to disrupt any offense by themselves at times. We can pull up multiple possessions and clips of watching them just be a one-man show defensively. And now you were seeing guys like Moses Moody take that leap offensively. His numbers has went up since the Jimmy Butler trade. Podziemski, he's becoming a two-way player. Offensively, he's shooting the rock. And so when I go back and I look at the Warriors, they check all the boxes. But here's what I say to this point. We got to remember, the Warriors was basically a lottery team before Jimmy Butler arrived. I believe they was, 11th in the Western Conference? So they had to exhaust so much energy just to get to this point. That week off is going to do wonders for them. They need the 6th seed more than anybody else that's fighting for that 6th seed.
Evan, you said that the Golden State Warriors went out and got Jimmy Butler so they could avoid play-in territory, which of course makes a lot of sense. But where's Jimmy been really good the last couple of years? In the play-in, in that spot with Miami. So the fear that I don't have about this Golden State Warriors team, if they do find themselves 7 and below, which probably won't happen beyond the 7th seed, but they've got somebody who's got that experience. They've got Steph playing at an all-time, all-world great level that he's been playing. As Perk pointed out, he's the best shooter in the game, and they've got the depth to be there. When you're big 3, like what happened the night that he scored 52 points, Draymond Green, a triple-double, what you saw from Jimmy Butler and Steph combining at the free throw line last week. Like, they're clicking on all cylinders. I just don't have that same sort of fear outside if I get the health element here. But this is an experienced team. This is a team that's done it before, and you've got the all-time great play-in tournament player in Jimmy Butler, that I don't have that same sort of fear that if they're in there that they won't be able to sustain a long run. I do have that fear with a team like Memphis, a team like Minnesota, teams that are not entirely on stable ground right now, and you're never sure what version of them you're going to get. So I'd rather, if I'm them, I'd rather be a little bit more confident to have that week off to regroup, to make sure that mentally that team's in the right place, Minnesota's who I'm referring to there, to be able to sustain that long run. But maybe I need whatever David was putting your coffee this morning to agree with Perk, because I just don't have any fear about the Golden State Warriors at this point, whether they're in the play-in territory or whether they do get that 6th seed.
Well, I want to go back to what was, you just said earlier about the Jimmy Butler thing. The Jimmy Butler, you didn't get Jimmy Butler just to be out of the plane. You get Jimmy Butler to have a shot. And Jimmy Butler gives you a shot at a championship. And what the Warriors have done since he's been there, they were 22-6, I think, since he's been there, top 3 to 5 in offense and defense. That has been the Warriors' calling card to a championship. And Jimmy Butler also, as we have seen, unleashes Stephen Curry in a way that has not happened before he got there. So the seeding, they had an uphill battle even to get to that point. And they've been good enough to get out of the play-in with Jimmy Butler there. The problem is the other teams that have been at the bottom of the West have been just as good. Minnesota has been on winning streaks. The Clippers have been on a heater. They've been keeping up with the Warriors. And any other year when they play